What if your toughest days were secretly shaping you into someone extraordinary? I'm bringing you Keanu Reeves' jaw-dropping speech today, and it's a game changer. Imagine facing walls, heartbreak, and still shining with strength and grace. That's the vibe he's giving us. These 7 signs you're a woman favored by God will pull you in and keep you hooked till the very last word. You don't want to miss how Keanu turns pain into power. Let's get started. Perhaps most of us believe that life is nothing more than a series of days filled with pain, and anyone who disagrees is often dismissed as naive or too young to understand. Yet there is an extraordinary depth in suffering. It is the sole force that unveils the truth about who you truly are. The woman favored by God is not one blessed with an easy life. On the contrary, she is the one who has traversed countless hardships to emerge stronger, who has confronted loss and rejection from adversity yet never allowed those trials to shatter her resolve. Most people, when faced with difficulties, crumble under pressure, becoming bitter and resentful, always seeking excuses to blame others and letting their pain dominate their existence. Meanwhile, the truly favored woman does quite the opposite. She transforms her suffering into strength, turning it into something meaningful. There is something remarkable about those who, despite enduring so much, remain steadfast in their spirit. They radiate a unique aura, speak with genuine honesty, and their presence naturally draws the eye, not because they crave attention, but because their existence exudes a power that demands respect. They might not always articulate their reasons, yet everyone can sense the hardships they have endured, and that very struggle captivates those around them. However, make no mistake, such strength comes at a steep price, for when you rise above your suffering, you soon realize that not everyone celebrates your success. Some envy you, some harbor hostility, and there are even those who seek to drag you down, relishing the sight of your fall, a fall that fate itself could never orchestrate. And this is precisely when the true test begins. It is not merely about surviving adversity, but about overcoming it so that it fortifies you. It is about transforming pain into nourishment for wisdom rather than a breeding ground for hatred. It is about perceiving suffering not as a curse, but as a tool for reinvention and self-transformation. Most people allow their pain to mold them into bitter individuals, cynical, withdrawn, distrustful, and unwilling to love. The woman favored by God, however, does the exact opposite. She keeps her heart wide open, not out of naivety, but because she understands that true strength lies in vulnerability. She refuses to let pain steal her ability to experience life, and she resolutely rejects the cruelty of the world that would otherwise turn her into someone unkind. Let us reflect for a moment. Maintaining kindness in a world that has given you every reason to be cruel, that is true strength. Continuing to believe in love even after betrayal, that is faith. Rising after countless falls, and confronting endless challenges with the understanding that you have endured far worse, that is power. The world will not always bestow upon you the rewards you deserve. In fact, it often does the opposite. People will question you, misunderstand you, and wonder why you do not harbor the bitterness that consumes them. They may mistake your resilience for arrogance, testing you and eagerly awaiting your downfall, not realizing that you have already been tempered by your trials. Life has dealt you its worst, and yet you have not collapsed. So, what more could they possibly do that is worse than what you have already survived? When you have hit rock bottom and risen on your own, you develop an unshakable confidence, not the kind that boasts or demands attention, but a quiet, steadfast confidence that comes from truly knowing who you are and what you are capable of. That is the mark of someone truly favored, for God does not bestow favor upon the weak, the complacent, or those who refuse to grow. He grants it to those who have proven their ability to bear the weight of responsibility. Favor is not merely about blessings, it carries with it great responsibility, a burden few are willing to bear. There is something about you that others sense even when you do not try. It is not merely your appearance or your way of speaking. It is the confident way you walk through life, the manner in which you move through the world with an aura that leaves others both admiring and perplexed, as if drawn by a magnetic force. And that is not because you are performing, trying to impress, or pretending to be someone else. No, it is because you are different. You stand out in a crowd, and when that happens, you will notice an unusual pattern. People are either irresistibly drawn to you, or irrationally resistant to you. There is rarely a middle ground, and that is indeed challenging, isn't it? Most people crave to be liked, to be accepted, understood, and included. But when you are a woman truly favored by God, your path is not like that. Instead, you enter a room and immediately transform its atmosphere. Some people will sense your strength, depth, and wisdom, and consequently feel safe in your presence. They are drawn to you. They trust you without fully understanding why. They recognize in you something that captivates them, even if they cannot completely articulate it. Yet there are others who feel threatened. They perceive your power and, instead of admiring it, become envious, mistaking your confidence for arrogance, your independence for defiance, and your very presence as a reminder of everything they lack. Consequently, they strive to belittle you. They spread rumors, criticize, and search for faults where none exist, testing you in hopes of seeing you fall, feigning friendship only to vanish. As soon as they realize they cannot control or diminish your strength, you might feel hurt by this, wondering why some harbor hatred toward you when you have never harmed them, or why you feel deeply loved by some yet completely misunderstood by others. If you are not cautious, you might even begin to think that you are the problem, but that is entirely a misconception. The truth is that your presence disrupts others not because you have done anything wrong, but because you force them to confront themselves. In reality, most people live in denial. They avoid examining their insecurities, weaknesses, and failures until you appear confident, steadfast, fully aware of who you are and the path you are following, and in doing so, you become the most genuine reflection they have ever encountered. Some who look upon you feel inspired. They see what can be achieved and yearn to grow, to improve, and to reach new heights. Yet there are those who, upon seeing you, feel exposed. They see what they might become, and instead of daring to change, choose jealousy. They are willing to tear you down because it is easier to face the truth about themselves, and that is the inherent weakness in most people. They internalize rejection and hostility, taking it personally, thinking that perhaps if they shrink themselves, others will accept them, or that if they change, others will feel less uncomfortable. But your path is not that way. The woman favored by God never shrinks herself just to make others feel comfortable. She does not plead to be understood, nor does she lower herself merely to be accepted by others. She stands firm, she moves forward, and she continues to shine even when others wish to drag her into darkness. For the truth is, you can never please everyone in the world. You were not created to fit into every group, to be loved by everyone you meet. The right people, those who intend to journey with you, will see you, cherish you, and rise with you, while others will withdraw. Let them be, for their rejection is not a loss, it is an enlightenment, a testament that you are not ordinary, that you were never destined to be so, and that is something to be cherished rather than lamented. The woman favored by God is not blind to the world around her. She is profoundly empathetic. She can sense the shift in a room before others even notice, and feel when someone's words do not align with their true intent. It is a burden, yet also a gift. She perceives the subtleties, the unspoken truths, the hidden energies beneath the surface, and while others may ignore their intuition, succumb to self-doubt, or silence the inner voice warning of danger, she does not, for she has learned, even through numerous trials, that her intuition is not merely a fleeting feeling, it is a protective shield. Of course, many will try to convince her that this is not so. They will say that she overthinks, that she imagines things that are not there, that she is too sensitive, but she does not believe it herself. She has lived long enough to know when something is amiss. She has witnessed enough to recognize deceit, manipulation, and false promises before they fully manifest, and therefore she needs no further evidence to affirm what she already knows. She believes that by the time the truth becomes clear to everyone, it will already be too late. This is why she is always cautious about whom she grants her trust, not because she is cold or indifferent, but because she understands that not everyone who enters her life is worthy of staying. She does not mistake charm for character. She never lets words distract her from her actions. She has witnessed countless people speak sweetly while acting in total contradiction. So she has learned to listen, truly listen, not only to what is said, but also to what is left unsaid, to observe how one behaves when no one is watching, to sense how their energy shifts when they believe no one is observing. And this is where most people falter. They ignore the warning signs, abandon their own instincts in favor of hope, love, or the need for acceptance. Once they recognize danger, they convince themselves that it simply does not exist. Yet, a woman favored by God has learned that her intuition is not merely a whisper in her mind, it is the shield that protects her from harm. She understands that the moment she begins to justify the unease she feels about someone, she is betraying herself. However, such wisdom always comes at an incredibly high price, for when you see clearly, you quickly realize that not everyone wishes to be seen. Some people need you to be blind in order to be easily manipulated. They require you to doubt yourself to maintain control, and when they see that you are not easily deceived by their illusions, they turn away. They call you difficult, accuse you of being overly skeptical, or withdraw simply because they cannot control you. You should not feel sorrow over this. It is something to cherish. For each person who walks away for this reason is a silent affirmation that they were never truly worthy of accompanying you on your journey. Those who truly belong in your life will not feel threatened by your insight. They do not need you to be blind in order to stay. They will value your wisdom, respect your instincts, and grow alongside you instead of devaluing you just to feel more comfortable in their own ignorance. Thus, she does not apologize for seeing what others overlook. She does not dim her own light merely to make those around her feel more at ease. She does not ignore the inner voice that has saved her time and time again, for she understands that intuition is not just a part of who she is, it is a sacred gift bestowed upon her, and she has learned to trust it even when the world advises her otherwise. The woman favored by God does not live a gentle life. She is continually tested. She faces countless obstacles that would bring most people to their knees, challenges that force her to confront her deepest fears, moments that make her doubt everything she once believed about herself, and yet she never collapses. She may stumble, she may question, and there are times when she even screams in frustration. But her will remains unbroken because with every trial she overcomes, she is forged into a stronger, more steadfast person, impervious to any storm that may come her way. But understand this, resilience is not something one is born with, it is something she has painstakingly built, forged through pain, molded by disappointments, and crafted along paths others dare not tread. Therefore, she never crumbles under pressure. She does not shatter when things do not go her way. She realizes that hardships are not punishments, they are life's way of preparing her, of equipping her to shoulder great responsibilities without breaking. Yet, when people look at her, they assume her life is always smooth. They see her confidence, her strength, the graceful command she holds over her life, and they believe she was always that way. But they do not know of the long nights she battled doubt, the moments when she wanted to give up yet persisted, the times when she had to rebuild herself from nothing. They are unaware of the sacrifices she has made, the times she chose maturity over comfort, and the relentless self-discipline required just to continue. And here lies the crucial truth. When you are tempered by the fire of challenges, your way of facing life is unlike that of others. You do not panic at temporary setbacks. You do not crumble under criticism. And you do not waste time trying to prove your worth to those who fail to see it, because you know who you are, you know what you have overcome, and you know your own capabilities. No external validation or rejection can alter that. This unsettles many, for most of the world is driven by insecurity. Most people make decisions out of fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of loneliness, but you are not like that. You have faced those fears and survived them. You have been abandoned, belittled, underestimated, yet you always rise. And because of that, you are free from the need for approval, free from the terror of solitude, free from the limitations that keep so many trapped in an incomplete life. But freedom comes with responsibility, for when you are strong, independent, and no longer in need of the world and Apos' validation, you will face new challenges. People will try to diminish your worth, seeking out cracks in your foundation. They will test you not because you are weak, but because they cannot comprehend your strength. They will accuse you of being excessive, too intense, overly ambitious, too independent, simply because they do not understand what you have endured to become who you are today. And this is when most people retreat. They allow the world and Apos' restlessness to make them doubt themselves, softening their own sharp edges just to blend in, diminishing their strength so others feel less threatened. But your path is not like that. The woman favored by God will not lower herself to become easily swallowed up, nor will she lessen her power just to make others feel more comfortable. She stands firm. She continues to move forward. She allows her very presence to challenge those who need challenging. And she does not waste time trying to be understood by those who never intended to understand her from the start. So, there you have it, Keanu Reeves' take on the secret signs you're a woman favored by God. It's not about an easy life. It's about what you do with the hard stuff, turning pain into power, staying kind through the chaos. I hope this lit a spark in you to keep pushing, to shine even brighter. What's your next step? Drop your thoughts below, and let's keep this energy going. See you in the next one.